artificial intelligence, AI, is not new. I truly believe in artificial intelligence, and I feel that it is bringing a positive impact in everyone's of life. It is bringing and contributing for the betterment of human society. And today I am going to talk about one of the examples how AI is contributing towards nuclear power plants. Yes, you heard it right. Actually, AI can bring and help nuclear power plants, which will help further in terms not only in terms of generation, in terms of electricity production, but also in terms of safety and security. And I have mentioned some of the companies which are working in this area, and they are all contributing in different ways, and we will touch a little bit how AI can help in nuclear power plants. But recently, this topic has been in discussion because of Argentinian President Javier Milei announced that he will implement AI-based nuclear power plants in Argentina by 2030. And this topic has got a lot of attention after his announcement. Not only that, he has also been given some funding by the US elected President Donald Trump, and also he will get some support from United States in creating AI-based nuclear power plants. Also, he has got green light from International Atomic Energy Agency, which has given its green light because it is very important when we talk about nuclear power plant. I would like to mention some of the disasters which has happened at nuclear power plants, and it can affect life, it can affect human loss, it can affect financial big losses, as well as many other issues. So it is very important when we talk about nuclear power plant. It is very well thought, and it has been taken into consideration any new innovation or any new interventions we are doing in this area. So these are some of the disasters which have happened. I'm sure you might have heard about Chernobyl or Fukushima or 3 Mile Island. These are some of the things what has happened and have taught us lessons that how we should work for future in terms of safety and security when it comes to nuclear power production. Now, one of the things I would like to mention about nuclear power plant, and which is getting a lot of attention, is a term called SMR. Now, what is SMR? SMR is not new. SMR stands for Small Modular Reactor. Actually, when we talk about nuclear power plant, the first thing comes in mind is large conventional reactors, the funnels which you see from your own eyes when you see any nuclear power plant. But SMRs are different. Actually, the main differences between SMR and large conventional facility is in terms of the scale. SMRs are very compact in design, and the best thing about them is they can be prepared at any other location. They does not need to be prepared on site like large conventional facilities, and these SMRs can be assembled somewhere else and brought into the actual location. Also, they are having much enhanced safety, and that is why SMRs are getting a lot of buzz around the world because they are very enhanced in terms of the safety. Other thing is flexibility and cost effectiveness, because large conventional nuclear power plants needs a lot of upfront investment. It takes a long time to build them and ensure that they are working on every day, whereas SMRs are much easier. As I mentioned, they can be assembled somewhere else, and they are very mobile to bring it on site. And definitely the investment in terms is much lesser as compared to large conventional facilities, and it is easier to operate. Definitely, to operate a bigger facility, a large facility takes more people, more resources, whereas SMRs are, in that perspective, are much more better and useful as well. And definitely, if you look at scalability, it is another thing, and you will see in another video of mine, I have been mentioning about some of the big IT players in US such as Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Meta. They are working on nuclear power plants, and many of them are SMR because in terms of electricity production, they are 300 megawatts, whereas large scales are 700 plus or up to a gigawatts. So that's why SMRs are getting a lot of traction. And I would also like to mention some of the key companies who are working and developing SMRs are NU Scale Power, Terrestrial Energy, Rolls-Royce, Rosatom from Russia, and China National Nuclear Corporation from China. These are the main SMR developers. They also build large scale facilities, but definitely when it comes to SMR, which are getting a lot of traction, which are very easy in terms of scaling up, in terms of building and so on, are getting a lot of traction. Now let's look at artificial intelligence and how it will contribute towards nuclear power plant. There are two ways to look at it. One is, why do we relate AI to nuclear power plants? One is on the consumption side, or why all these big IT players are looking for nuclear power plants because of increase in energy consumption, because of data centers, because everything we do needs more electricity. For example, when you do a simple Google search and when you do the same search on ChatGPT might take 10 times more energy as compared to a simple Google search. So in future, when we talk about AI applications, they will consume much more electricity. But today we will talk not only about the consumption part, but we are looking at the other side, that if we are looking at a nuclear power plant, how artificial intelligence can support, can benefit, and what would be the advantages AI can bring in. So the first and the most important is predictive maintenance. I am looking at more technical benefits of AI for a nuclear power plant. These benefits are also seen and applicable in many other sectors, in many other industries, but now we are looking specifically at nuclear power plant, and the first most important benefit is predictive maintenance. When we talk about predictive maintenance, it is about monitoring, it is about predicting any kinds of failure. When you run such a big facility, when we are talking about energy manufacturing or energy production, it is very important to ensure that the maintenance of that plant is done on regular basis to avoid any security or safety issues. And that's where AI comes into picture, because AI will give us messages and alarms that what is the right time and when it is the right time to look at any of the maintenance issues. Because if the things are maintained carefully in the right way, then the chances of failures, chances of any disaster, chances related to any safety and security of people or asset loss are limited. So that's where AI brings value. That is the first and the foremost use case. Second is monitoring. I will say, humans are humans. It can do mistakes. We are prone to errors. We have our own advantages, but computers are much more efficient in terms of monitoring. They are machines, and in terms of real-time monitoring, artificial intelligence comes into pictures because of different kinds of sensors, monitoring systems, alarms, and cameras, and machine learning will come into picture here, and it will help in terms of real-time monitoring, specifically because nuclear power plants have radiations. So it is very important to monitor that the plant is safe and operating in the right function, in right order. So real-time monitoring can be done by machines. It could be CCTVs, it could be different kind of other monitoring systems. And the most important is real time, because any loss of any seconds or moments can bring disaster. So real time monitoring, so that the disaster can be handled before it happens or as soon as possible. So AI comes into picture. The other is process optimization. So I have seen many use cases of artificial intelligence when it comes to optimizations. you look at telecom sector, you look at IT, and we have seen artificial intelligence because of its brain, because of the algorithms, because of the protocols we can specify in it. It looks at the ways how it can do things better in a much more efficient way and reduce any loss. So basically, when we look at optimization in power plant, it is mainly fuel optimization and load balancing. So the input as compared to output is very important. Usually it is proportional, but AI can help us to make it even better. So less input, more output is beneficial. And load balancing, because electricity is something where we need to balance the load. We need to see how much demand we have and how much supply we should do. And it is very important because the demand can be very important in the future and now also, because lots of different kind of devices, lots of different kind of machines are coming into picture. Machine to machines are connected, and we need to ensure that load balancing is done on a regular basis. The other is the simulation. Imagine you want to become a pilot, and you go to a training school or to an airlines. They're not gonna give you an aeroplane and you crash it because you do not know how to fly it. So what happens is you have been given a simulated environment where you learn how to fly an aeroplane, and once you are ready, then you will be sitting next to a co-pilot and you will learn and fly with him few times before you will be given an aeroplane. Similarly, when you look at any other facility, it is always important to give you a simulated environment so that you can learn. And not only you can learn, but you try things offline, you try things in a simulated environment before you apply them in real life, before you apply them in live environment to have any bad consequences or impacts. So simulation is created by AI. There are different solutions and different technologies like digital twin, etc., which are coming into simulation space, which will help through AI to imagine further enhancements in nuclear power plants. The other is data analysis. It is not new. I think data analysis has been there for a while. There are different companies, there are different softwares. We have to do different kind of data analysis. But I will say AI will bring a new sphere of ideas, use cases, especially in risk assessment, in terms of data analytics, relating to other different softwares and other different areas which were not previously done. AI will help to use machine learning. AI will help to use image recognition and so on, which will help in terms of data analysis, which will finally help in providing and making better use of nuclear power plants. So I think you can see what I'm talking is how AI can be applied to nuclear power plants. And there is another area which I mentioned is consumption. That is separate. There is another video I'm going to post which you can see that why do we need a nuclear power plants, and that is a separate topic. But today in this video I am talking about how AI can bring value to nuclear power plants. And the other thing is waste management. So when you hear about nuclear power plants, you will see a lot of people take a step back, and one of the reasons is the waste management, because nuclear waste is something which is very important to be tracked, and it needs to be thrown out in the right way. So basically AI will help in the complete life cycle. So from the beginning till the end, we will be able to track what has been done. Especially there are companies who are working in this area using AI to see how much of the waste has been coming out and how much waste has been decomposed, or what has been done with that. And also not only that, in terms of how we can avoid it, how we can reduce it and so on. So all this would be much better handled through AI, especially in terms of decommissioning and so on. There are a lot of nuclear power plants which are sometimes not operational, or they have some other issues. So that's where AI comes into picture. Then the other thing is safety. As I mentioned, some of the disasters which has happened at nuclear power plants, and still sometimes it takes long time to clean them. So the other thing about AI is the safety, and I will say here it will do fault diagnosis and emergency response. When I say fault diagnosis, Again, AI is a technology which can talk to machines, which have better understanding of data which is being done at different points of time. So basically it will be able to look at the faults and do not only look at the faults and kind of inform at the operation center, but also do diagnosis, because as I mentioned, it can do machine to machine learning. It will understand why those faults have happened and how to avoid those faults going forward. And not only that, there is something called closed loop automation, where basically once the fault has been triggered and once the fault has been diagnosed, it will look at the complete analysis of it, and then it will also ensure that this fault is rectified and sorted out in the right way without any human intervention. It is also sometimes called zero touch tolerance or zero touch performance in terms of sorting out those kind of faults. Then the final thing is security. I think because of the geopolitical reasons and also because of the nature of nuclear power plants, the other important thing is the security. I think AI has brought different layers of security, especially in terms of threat detection, cyber security, in terms of any other cyber threats and so on. So AI is another bringing benefit in terms of this feature to nuclear power plants. I think there are many more use cases which are innovative, which are under discussion every day, and I would like to mention some of these companies which are working extensively in terms of how we can bring AI into real innovation when it comes to nuclear power plants. So one of the companies is Framatome. Rolls-Royce, you might have heard about cars and engines, but Rolls-Royce is also working in terms of bringing AI to nuclear power plants. Then the other one is NCNR, which is National Center for Nuclear Robotics in UK. They're working day and night. They're working on many new applications and use cases, how AI can benefit nuclear power plants. GE, which is General Electric, which have been working in this area from a long time. And then finally Siemens, which is not a new name. Siemens have been in power generation from a very long time, and now they're also looking at how they can bring new AI enabled applications and use cases to it. So that's where I would like to thank all my viewers. But please remember, if you are looking for any expert advice in terms how AI can benefit your organization, especially how AI can benefit power generation, nuclear power plants, or in general how we can use AI for ethical and meaningful purposes, I am more than happy. I have been working in technology, in AI for more than 20 years, and I'm more than happy to give you an expert consulting advice. You can reach out to me by my email ID. I have mentioned it for your reference. Don't be shy. I would be more than happy to bring this, new technological aspects to any organization, to any enterprise, and make this world a better place to live for everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have a good day.